Greetings, friends and family. It is Saturday, the 25th of November, and I feel not necessarily chatty, but I have some things to document, to share. Cheers. Yes, the coffee is good today. How are you? How are you? How are you? So I did participate in Black Friday, Record Store Black Friday. I'll show you what I got. But a couple other good things happened yesterday on Black Friday, and I want to document them. I want to share them. So I've been talking about the fact that I'm working with Hank Red, who was a horn player with Stevie Wonder, Buddy Miles, Johnny Taylor, Tyrone Davis, Denise Williams, and the list goes on. He's 10 years older than me. I am basically his engineer at this point. He's recording some compositions for a particular project for a hospital. I don't want to reveal too much, but we finally got down to work yesterday with his setup at his house, and I really appreciate this opportunity. Hank is a wonderful person, and he's been being taken advantage of, in getting his computer set up and getting the tools so he can record at home. These people have been ripping him off, because he doesn't know. And so for example, he bought Ableton, had it put on his computer. That's why I have Ableton, was so I could work with his. Come to find out that his isn't, they didn't even authorize it. So we can't save anything yet. Since he had the store load it, they should have put the authorization on it. Now they're holding it hostage. I told him, well, we can't save anything. I'm recording, but we can't save anything yet. And so he gets on the phone, and the place that loaded it on him are claiming that he'll have to pay $150 more to get the authorization. And I'm going to help. That doesn't sound right. I didn't have to do that. I bought mine and got the authorization. I have to pay nothing extra. He's getting ripped off. So I'm going to help with that. I'm going to be an advocate. Make sure he's not getting ripped off. But the other thing, because we finally got to one of the compositions that he wants to record. Wow. I'm working with an amazing musician. It's like he hit those keys, and it's like, you're paying me really nice, but I'd love it if you would teach me these chord voicings. I don't know how. He just hit the damn keyboard and and it's like, wow, these colors. It's like, it's not church, but it's this black jazz tonal palette that I don't know. I mean, I hear it, but he just started jamming. I'm just going, quite literally, dang, Henry, bro. So, as besides getting paid, which he's paying me really nicely, I need it, but I am also, it's just it's an honor to be, it's a sign of respect, and he says, oh no, you've already earned more than this, more to come. So that was beautiful. It was that was good. So before I show the records, I want to share another good thing that happened at the record store. I can barely go to the record store without being recognized by people, and I don't know who they are. And it happened yesterday, and it was lovely. I really do get a lot of local celebrity um, treatment. I'm not thinking about thinking that about myself. It's how people regard me, and I love it. You know, I'm not expecting it, so the fact that it happens and happens so often, I love it. I really appreciate it. But while I was at Homer's yesterday, my estranged ex bandmate Steve Sheehan walks in, and I'm at the counter checking out. So I'm just right there when he walks in, and it was like, frankly, I'm happy to see him. You know, we've been estranged. Steve, if you see this, correct me, but it's, as far as I know, you're the one that's been holding a grudge all these years. The last time I saw you before yesterday, you didn't even hardly want to talk to me. And that time I was letting you know that I'm good with you. I'm cool with you. I'm glad to see you. What's up? This time it went much better on his end. We talked. And I was able to tell him, Steve, I don't know what it would take to bury the hatchet between you and me, but I got no bad feelings about you. Now he didn't respond directly, It reminded me, oh, okay, that's you see this, Steve, I ain't lying about you. So he deflects it and asks, oh, have you heard about John, our original guitar player, John Tingle, who's not doing well and will probably be losing him. I hope not this year or next year, but his health is horrible. So we connected on that, talked a little bit, and then I noticed he had on a Slow Dive hoodie. So again, we have a lot in common. So I asked about that, and he said, "Yeah, I seen him twice on this tour." And I said, "You bitch, see, I love Steve. I have a deep love for Steve. I spoke at the funerals of both of his parents. Okay, we were close. I was close to him, and I was close to his family. That close. Okay, to give a eulogy for the family at both parents' funerals. Do you hear me? So whatever he's holding, it's like it's nonsense. It's water under the bridge. I was really happy to see him. And you know what I did before I left? Because I almost just let the conversation go. It was a good conversation. But then I saw that he was interacting with Mark Manor, who's one of the main people at Homer's. And Mark is one of our oldest fans of Digital Sex. So I said, this is a golden opportunity. So I walked back there. I says, well, Mark, can you believe that what you're seeing here? And he was nonplussed. It's like, not in a million years did I think I'd see the two of you together. And I took that opportunity to put my arm around Steve. I love that man. Whatever he's holding against me is, as far as I'm concerned, just water under the bridge, and it's bullshit. I just shared with you, quite honestly, that I've been an asshole. We all have been. No one is perfect. I don't want to hear from people who say, well, I've never done this. Shut the fuck up. Yes, you have. Everyone. No one is perfect. We all have dipped and swayed and been idiots. And I fully admit it. There's no false pride is false, okay? So I'm ready to move on. I was happy. Steve I had seen in the local music news that he was going to be playing. He played last night as a guest for this band that does a Bauhaus tribute. And apparently, I told him, well, I see you're playing tonight. So, see, we have a lot to talk about. And it was a pleasant conversation, I love this man. And then I saw the pictures on Instagram from the show. And we talked about it, I do think that's one of the things that bugged him was that after the band broke up, I was much more honest about how I never regarded his singing as much. He can sing okay, but it was his look and his enthusiasm about the music that we connected on. That's how we started the band. don't think Steve likes me saying that, but that's the truth as far as what I was doing. And I started the band. It was my music. And so that's the story. So I did buy some records, and more used than Record Store Day, because most of the Record Store Black Friday titles did not interest me. The majority of them. And they're reissuing jazz albums that I used to see as rejects in Goodwills, and I still have some of them, And these people are reissuing them like this is something. And it's like, y'all thought it was garbage in the first place, and now you're just trying to exploit it and make more money. I hate that about business. Okay, I just hate that. Okay, so let me start. So when you buy certain things on Record Store Day, they give you swag that goes with it, little extras. But being as who I am, and I'm an ex-employee as well as just, I'm one of the local people. They give me as much swag. I don't ask for it. They just give me a bunch of swag. The stuff that's supposed to go with records that you didn't buy. Like, for example, I got the Devo slip mat, the 50-year deal, 50 years of de-evolution. And I love Devo. That's a nice design. I got one of those for free. I got the Black Pumas. I respect the Black Pumas. It's not what I listen to, okay, but I respect them, and they're good. And this one was a treat. A Beatles Revolver slip mat. Yeah, I have others too. I actually used them. This was when they had their 50th anniversary in 2021. They also gave me, just threw in there, Jason Isbell, lenticular ad. The weather vane goes around. And this, they gave it to me, even though I didn't buy the Flaming Lips release, but they gave this to me anyway. It's an autographed booklet that goes along with this reissue of I think it's a 2002 album of theirs. And that's cool, Wayne and Steve Drozda autographs. Cool. I appreciate that. I sure do. I went to Grapefruit first, thinking I needed to do that to avoid a line. But as I was driving over there and looked down the street, because they're both in the same area of town, there was no line. So I said, oh, guess I'll be stopping at Homer's anyway. So I went to Grapefruit first and got I got 2 Record Store Day releases, but there was only one that I really wanted here in America. If I lived in England or Europe, there were many titles I would have wanted. The reissue of Bull of the Woods, 13th Floor Elevators. I used to have an original in the box set. I've told the story about how I got beat selling it. This is, I don't know, I've said it before, but in the past, in the press, this was the least lauded of the albums, which is incorrect. This album is dynamite. I love this. I love this album. Dr. Doom on side 2 is a favorite, plus Never Another on the first side. And it's on beautiful white vinyl. So I was happy to get that. There was a lot of stuff. I looked at the Yes album, this new box. I don't need it. It's enticing, but I don't want to pay that for it, and I don't need it. I don't need any of these, but And this is the other Black Friday title I picked up. Marion Brown and Leo Smith reissue of the Creative Improvisation Ensemble album with the new cover. And this is something I've actually been after over the years. And the few times I've seen an original was too much, 79, 80, 90 to 90 bucks. Oh, I just spotted another piece of swag that gave me a Alice Cooper air freshener. You know, the type of thing that you hang in the car. I just got it here in the room. But this Marion Brown album is vital. This and again, they made it on red vinyl, which is fun. But this is really dynamic and strong, really, really strong and almost brash. It's like this is fearless improvisation. It's like, this is not no messing around. This is really, really strong. So those are the two Black Friday titles that I got. I bought one other new release. It's not a Black Friday title, it's just a new release. And I was surprised to see it and happy to see it. They didn't have the limited edition. I don't need it, but I got this. Silver Apples and Makoto Kawabata of Acid Mother's Temple, a collaboration called Mirage. This was recorded in 2009. So even without hearing it, I knew that I was interested in this because of the people. This is really good. It gets to a point where it's like it's Faust. That's a high compliment. People who understand Faust and the magic of Faust, when Faust, on their records, the first 4 albums, when they really get cooking with that mixture of sound and music, it creates this whole otherworldly, weird atmosphere that's wonderful. Faust 4 has some of the, and the Faust tapes have some of the best examples of what I'm talking about. They get it on here. But what's cool is I'm hearing it's like, man, this is in the Faust territory, but it's like you hear it's Makoto and Silver Apples. You hear that it's them, but they caught a vibe on this. This is really good. It's like, wow. This is the surprise of yesterday. Damn good. Well, I also had a couple of surprises in the used section at Homer's. I bought one, and with all these records, I still kept it right around 200. That anymore these days, when you make a trip to the record store, you can drop $100. I was watching the In Grooves live in store yesterday for a while, and I could see that. Well, yeah, this is has nowhere near what the last record store day was as far as numbers of people coming out in the stores. But as I'm seeing him and his wife ring people up, nobody's ring was less than 100 because they would say it out loud. 124, 109, 100, 200, So I did good to get these many records for about $200, and these, all these. Okay. So I picked up one used record at Grapefruit because I never bought this, and when I played this yesterday, I was like, oh my goodness. Illuminations, Alice Coltrane and Carlos Santana. This is fantastic. It is spiritual, but it's not flaky. It's real. And the thing about it is that both Carlos and Alice are in their bliss mode. That's what they're doing. They are just spilling out. You can feel it and hear it. Both of them play beautifully on this. Seriously. Jack DeJohnette on drums. It's joyous, spirited, spiritual, and beautiful. And it's like, I always just kind of took this album for granted. Never bought it. It's like, ooh, Illuminations. I did work yesterday. Besides working with Hank, I ended up late here working again more. I'm loving it. I'm loving the process. Okay. So here's one that the cover is dinged. It's damaged. It's not pristine. So I understand this is why I was able to get this record in the used at Homer's at the price I did. But I still got a hell of a deal on this record in spite of the cover damage. The Avalanches, Since I Left. I've had this since it came out on CD. This is a work of art. This is like DJ Shadow. This to me is an early example of sampling as an art form and really done well. If you haven't heard this album, well, if you've heard it, you know what I'm talking about. This is a tour de force of sampling and done and juxtaposing, really done well. This is really cool. And if you look this up online and see what these go for, this is not an original. This is a reissue. Look up how much the reissue goes for. Check it out. So much so that when I took it up, when I was getting rung out by one of the younger staff at Homer's, who I'm friendly with, but he's younger, but he's kind of trying to know. You know what I mean? He knows a little bit about stuff. So when he pulled this up to ring this up and looked at the price, he looked at me and looked at it, and I found the is it the Easter egg? Is this an Easter egg? It's like I feel like I'm almost certain of it that this is the one of the special deals that the store put in for Record Store Day for someone who would know, because I got this for less than $20, and this goes for, look it up, Score. That was way cool. This one, I thought I already had this, but when I checked and I didn't, it's because I grew up with this. One of my old housemates, Craig, had this and played it a lot. He, Tomita Cosmos. And so when I put it on, I was like, oh my God, all these memories come flooding back. It starts with the Star Wars main title. My friend Craig just loved this. He would just crank it really loud. And we'd smoke a lot of weed and get silly listening to it. But it brought back a lot of really fond memories. And this was super cheap, like $5. I said, yeah. I had to check, though. I thought I already had it. I didn't. Here's one that I already own, but it's my original copy. And it's blemished. The record is blemished from me playing it so much. And I never see this with a really good cover. They're always worn. This is the least worn used copy of this I've come across. So do a replacement, so I got it. The two sides of Peter Banks, the original guitarist from Yes. And this is an understated but wonderful album. When I first got this, I was underwhelmed. I had expectations, like we do. I was just a kid. I bought it when it came out. So with the 1973, so with the personnel, I was ready for bells and whistles. Jan Ackerman from Polka, Steve Hackett, my favorite guitarist from Genesis, Phil Collins, John Wetton. And this album is very reflective for the most part. There are some jammy parts, and they're good. But over time, the beauty of this album has shown itself, the maturity of what Peter Banks was doing. So I couldn't leave this. And guess what? This was only $11. People, there's a lot of really good music that people just don't know about. So it's not valued. Matter of fact, one of the people who was looking in the used section, I didn't recognize him. He recognized me. Then he reminded me he was in a local band. Oh, okay. But I still didn't remember him. But we got to talking because, he likes records, apparently. Much younger than me. So when I pulled this and I said, I can't leave this, do you ever, he said, no, I don't know anything about it. So I started to tell him all about this, and then, this is just a jaw drop. This like I would have had no idea. So that was a good find. I always get these, even though some of these records are really kind of dated and kind of mediocre, actually. But Klaus Schultz's label, Innovative Communication. Yeah, when I see them cheaply, and they are, because nobody values them, I get them. This is one that I didn't have. Double Fantasy, Universal Avenue. I put just a little bit of this on, and sure enough, it sounds dated. But I'm not sorry I bought it. Like I said, as I see these, I'll buy more. Again, able to get it for around $10-12. Sure. This was a find. Now, when I put this on yesterday, if you see this, Michael, I thought of you, Michael P. Dawson, because he collects this stuff too. Rod Hunter Moog. This is out of Canada. I had never seen this before, and this is a Canadian pressing. So when I looked it up on Discogs, I didn't see a listing for a U.S. release. This never came out in the U.S. Don't know about Rod Hunter. Didn't find out anything about him online, but I only looked quickly. But there's a version of Popcorn on here that bum, 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 and then other hits done on the synthesizer. So it's got the cheese factor, but I don't know. There's a track on here called Snoopy, and I don't know what the origins of that track are, but it's actually a pretty groovy track. It stands alone on itself. It's like, oh, so they let them actually play a decent song on here. This is cool. Once again, super cheap, Nobody wants these records except for people like me. But I thought of Michael P. Dawson. I says, I bet he's got this one. I'd never seen it. 3 more. I already have this, but this is a reissue, and I have an original, and my original is really worn. The cover is the album plays fine, but the cover is very, very worn. Mother Mania, Mothers of Invention, the best of the mothers. A reissue on the Zappa label. 180 gram. This is like brand new. The condition. So it's like, I can't leave this. And it was $20. It's also interesting that it's not banded. It's cut as a single program, as you can see there. Oh, that's a nice pressing. So I popped this on, and I could tell right away that this has either been recut or remastered. I didn't look in the. It may say down here. I didn't look. Sounded great. That was real nice. Real nice. They did used drops all day, and because it's record store day, they weren't doing holds yesterday. So after I got home, they dropped some more used, and there were some things I want, but I couldn't get them to hold them. Thank you, folks. When I go to the post office today, I'm planning to make a run down there, another run to see if those titles are still in the bins. They might be. But I got an order from Australia. This is the first time in a long time that anyone, because of the postage. Thank you so much. And we'll see if that covers it. I hope that what you paid, which is more, it's twice what you paid for the CD just to get the damn thing, which honors me. Thank you. But we'll see if that's enough. This postage stuff is absolutely insane. It's wrong. The last 2 things I bought yesterday. This one, I bought it. I know I like it. It's not essential for me, but it's like, this isn't used. It's a brand new album. Sold. Alison Goldfrapp, The Love Invention. I have some Goldfrapp. I have a couple of their early singles. Utopia. I love the sound. I like her voice. So actually, I do like Goldfrapp. I do. But this was in the used. And I like the single, the first single off of here, because I like video. So the first video on here is Never Stop, using that AI technique. That was one of the first videos I saw where they're using it like it's really ubiquitous now. The morphing and shit that people are doing with AI. So this actually was directly inspired or influenced what I was doing in my studio last night, because I'm doing electronic beats. And the second track on this was like, ooh, I like that groove. How did they get that? I couldn't get it. I know that it's some settings, something I have to learn about how you put the groove on the. And then I didn't know this until I got home. It's the limited edition purple vinyl version. Score, and it's good. It's pop music. It's electronic pop music. You know, Little Dragon are another band that they don't sound like this, but it's in that vein. You know what I'm saying? It's danceable. You hear this in the clubs. Definitely club music. But good listening. Last thing I bought was This Was For Me. This is waiting for me. Who else is going to buy this? I don't know. I said, wow. Hell yes. That's why I'm thinking about going back down today. There may be another item like this that there are a few other buyers in Omaha that buy stuff like this. Annea Lockwood, the composer, the woman who composed Burning Piano. You know about that piece? Literally set the piano on fire and let it burn. That's the performance. You know, she's one of those deep thinkers like Pauline Oliveros, and deep listener. And so her ideas, this is becoming air into the vanishing point is what this is. Love that cover, and I love this portrait of her. You know, she's an artist who, see, I love this sort of thing. It's not the sort of thing that you listen to often, or maybe you only listen to it once or a couple times to get the experience, okay? I read the notes on this because it was important for me to get the context of the work, okay? It makes all the difference, because when you get a glimpse into what the composer intended, or what, it's like, this is deep. And again, Mr. Dawson, you come to mind because the second piece on here is called Into the Vanishing Point, and it's done by the percussion, not percussion, but the group Yarn Wire. And what the piece is about the, let me see, I don't want to read too much of this. They were reading an article in the New York Times about the collapsing insect populations worldwide and the dire implications, like bees and stuff. You know, if the bees go, we go, among other things. So that was the impetus for writing the piece, and they get it. You know, they don't use any field recordings, no electronics. With percussion and piano, it really works, you know, because they get to this point where they're expressing their anxiety about losing these insects, and they actually, it sounds like insects, you know, trying to. It's wild. This is fantastic. I love stuff like that, you know. I love collecting stuff like that. You know, it's not something you listen to a lot, but it's enriching. It's enriching. So that's what I got yesterday. I'm over a half hour. I'm going to stop here in a minute. But the last thing I'll show is I was in the Peter Gabriel fan club page last night, and people were showing some different takes of this shot, which apparently this picture was taken in New York on Thanksgiving Day that year. They were on tour. This is a bootleg. It's not a good quality sound, but it's a great cover bootleg. So I pulled it to show that this was another take, another shot from that. It was fun because the person who showed his pictures had never seen this bootleg or this particular shot, so that was fun to share. Okay, folks, have a good weekend. Let me get off of here. It's going to take forever for this to upload.